This afternoon in East Central Indiana, Newcastle Motorsports Park, the McLaughlin Motorsports Grand Nationals for the 2013 Man Cup Series. $14 drivers set to go 14 laps in Yamaha Senior. Here's how they're going to go. On the pole in that black arrow, number 1, it's Camden Speth. Speth looking for the clean sweep on the day. Won the pole award, won the pre-final. He starts on the pole in the main event. On the outside, the number 52 Burrell, it's James Brock. Brock's out of Flushing, Michigan. On the inside of row number 2, it's the number 71 Derek Hughes out of Burlington, Kentucky. On the outside, the number 3 Brett Schneider. He's out of Fairfield, Ohio. Inside row 3, the number 79, Dakota Pesic, defending national champion in this class is Pesic. He's out of Dayton, Ohio. And on the outside, the number 17, Chase Jones. Jones out of Greenwood, Indiana. Inside row 4, the number 45, Patrick Olson out of Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin. And on the outside, the number 26, Nick Landy. Landy out of Old Bridge, New Jersey. Inside row number 5, the 31, Ross Resner out of Delaware, Ohio. On the outside of Resner, the number 37, Darren Brubaker out of Warsaw, Indiana. Inside row number 6, the number 77, Cole Fink. Fink's out of Brownsburg, Indiana. On the outside, the 55, Colin Griffin. He's out of Winfield, Illinois. And your 7th and final row, made up of the 00, Andy Cockman out of Granger, Indiana. And on the outside, Gavin Holtum in the number 5 out of Lafayette, Indiana. A lot of Hoosiers in this field. Brubaker not able to come off the grid. Tough break for Darren.
Oh, look, another false start.
Having problems with the number 37, Merlin, on the grid. That's Darren Brubaker, slated to start in the 10th position. Next up is GT7 Motorsports Comet Sportsman. Need Comet Sportsman drivers to the grid, please.
Good. How's our sales today? Good. Yeah? We got one of them running in the parts counter?
Going to look for a green flag as they come down the back straightaway. Your starter is Denny Long. Race director Chuck Yoder out there trying to slow him down. Here we go. Green flag is out, going racing for our first final of the weekend. Speth jumps out to the lead. Brock settles into second. Hughes will move into third as they make their way through turns 1, 2, and 3 and out into the blue corner for the first time. 14 laps is the distance. Camden Speth, the driver to beat in that black number 1. He's had control of this class all day. And right now he's out front here with about a half lap down. Looks like Patrick Olson's moved up to the 4th spot. As they work the back half of the course, Olson started in 7th, already up to 4th, so we'll keep an eye on his top cart as we work through the early stages of this Yamaha Senior main event. Couple of drivers getting together here in turn 13. Looks like everybody will get back going. One driver going to lose a lot of ground, though. Coming down the main straight for the first time under green flag conditions in main event action this weekend, McLaughlin Motorsports Grand Nationals. It's Camden Speth out front. Local driver is Speth in that black number 1. That's an Aero chassis. James Brock settles into second. He's been fast all day is Brock. I believe it's his first Man Cup this season. The Michigan driver here this weekend. And running pretty good on that Burrell, sitting in second spot behind Camden Speth. with 1 lap down. Comet Sportsman, you should be at the grid. Comet Sportsman, you're out next.
Patrick doing better? No, because we gave Casey all our fucking Yamaha. That's why. Bill gave me two all the Yamaha when we go. Fuck. That's why Alex. That's why I asked him on everything. Bill put them all on top. Is that on top right now? No, he's doing it on top.
Be 3 laps down this time. 2-kart breakaway out front. James Brock hanging with Camden Speth here in the early stages of this 14-lapper. As they try to move away from Derek Hughes. They come off of turn 17. It's Speth out front of Brock. They have 1.2 seconds over Derek Hughes, who rides in third. Patrick Olson is fourth. Chase Jones right now rounds out your top 5. Brett Schneider's sixth. Dakota Pesic been a little bit off the pace today. Normally right up front is Pesic. Right now he rides in seventh on his arrow. Ross Resner on the PCR. He's eighth. Colin Griffin is ninth, and Nick Landy right now rounds out the top 10. Report over the radio, the 77, Cole Fink, retires from this one. Four laps down, 10 left to go for Camden Speth as he rides ahead of James Brock. The same order in the pre-final earlier today. Brock hung with him in that pre-final for about half of the race and then seemed to fade down the stretch. We'll see what happens in this one as we're shy of halfway, working lap number 5. We'll see if Speth can open up the gap here on James Brock. Looks like he's already starting to do so. About 5, give it about 7 or 8 kart lengths between Speth and second place James Brock, as they're about a second and a half ahead of third place Derek Hughes. Then you have a couple of top karts riding fourth and fifth. Patrick Olson in the 45 and Chase Jones in the 17. Those two drivers looking to work together, trying to close in on Derek Hughes.
like family coordination.
Brock closing back in on Speth now. Be halfway home this time by.
Same girl. Hey, how are you again?
Speth and Brock lead the field out of the red corner and down the main straightaway. Speth tucks right behind the steering wheel of that number 1 Arrow. And they're halfway home. 7 down, 7 to go for Camden Speth. Still Brock second, Hughes third. Chase Jones has made his way by Patrick Olson for fourth. Olson right now in fifth. Schneider in sixth, Griffin seventh, Pessik's faded back to eighth, Resner ninth, and Nick Landy rounding out your top 10. Now Speth has opened up the gap over James Brock. We'll get an interval this time by. Looks to be about 20 kart lengths now between Speth and Brock, kind of similar to the pre-final where Speth was able to pull away in the latter stages of the race, and he's doing it again here in this one. Looking for a clean sweep on the day is Camden Speth. Your pole winner, your pre-final winner, and now he's 1.4 seconds ahead of James Brock and opening up that lead in the Yamaha Senior main events. Thinking this would be Camden Speth's first Man Cup feature win if he can hold on here. As really the only drivers on the track that are consistent winners in the Man Cup in recent years. Patrick Olson, he rides back there in fifth, and Dakota Pesik in eighth place. So neither of those drivers in position to challenge for the win. Pesik, double national champion last year, won Supercan light and heavy, and rode consistency to the title. I believe he only won 2 features on the year, but had consistent top 5 finishes throughout the course of the season and was able to come away with a couple of national championships. Now here's Olson to the inside of Chase Jones, and Olson will take over the 4th spot. That's Schneider and Jones going side by side into turn 1. Jones will hold on to 5th. Schneider back in 6th. He's right out front. Battle on the track right now for the 4th spot. Patrick Olson, Chase Jones, and Brett Schneider doing battle into turn 13. Battling for a couple of podium positions there. Right now it's all Camden Speth out front. Be 3 laps to go this time by for Camden Speth. 11 laps down, 3 to go, as he's opened it up to more than a 2-second advantage, 2.2 seconds over James Brock last time by. Derek Hughes running strong in 3rd. Working to close in on your 2nd place runner, James Brock. So we'll keep an eye on that, see if Hughes has anything for Brock here over the last 2.5 laps. Hughes been riding in that 3rd position for most of the day. Brock's been riding in 2nd for most of the day. 14 drivers signed in to Yamaha Senior today, sponsored by Efficiency Italy. Two laps to go from starter Denny Long. Camden Speth, a dominating performance, looking to close it out here. 2 laps left, 2.5 second lead for Speth over the Burrell James Brock. Speth looking to give Arrow another win on the season. Comet Sportsman, you should be on the grid. Tag Senior, you will follow.
Pretty good. Good job, Tag Mark. Get back on.
White flag in the air one more time for Camden Speth. Let's keep our eye on the battle for the 4th spot. Still Olson just ahead of Chase Jones. Couple of top cart drivers ahead of the Arrow, Brett Schneider, as they work their way through turns 2 and 3 and off into the blue corner. That is the battle on the track. Meanwhile, Hughes is closed in on Brock here. Let's see if Hughes has anything for James Brock with about a half lap remaining. That would be the battle for 2nd. Still single file up the hill, working into the green corner. Doesn't look like Hughes close enough to make a challenge in turn 13. We'll see if Jones does anything with Olson in 13. They're still single file. Nobody makes a move. Going to go up the hill to the red corner. We'll see if anybody makes a move here. Looks like Brock still has a couple of cart lengths on 3rd place running Derek Hughes. Now side by side for the 4th spot. Give it to Chase Jones. Jones gets by Patrick Olson. Checkered flag in the air. Give the win to Camden Speth. Clean sweep on the day. 2nd place, side by side at the line. James Brock will take it over Hughes. Olson will take 4th. And Chase Jones, I believe that is, sitting over there in the grass. And that's a 17, Chase Jones. I didn't see it. I was watching the battle for 2nd across the line. Potential contact there with Jones and the 45 of Olson. And Jones sitting over there in the grass and not going to cross the stripe to complete the final lap. Tough break for Chase Jones, but got to give some credit here to Camden Speth. A dominating performance in Yamaha Senior today at the McLaughlin Motorsports Nationals. pole winner in Streeter Superstands qualifying. Pre-final winner over James Brock, and he won going away in the main event, a 2-second victory over Brock. Hughes needed one more lap there to get by Brock. He just caught him. Literally just caught him as they crossed the stripe to close the race out. So Hughes needed that one to be a 15-lapper. And this one should be a good one. Comet Sportsman on track, sponsored by GT7 Motorsports. On the pole out of Greenfield, Indiana, the number 2, Zach Holden. Outside out of Eagle, Wisconsin, the 01, Brandon Lemke. He's been tough to beat today. Inside row number 2, the 07 out of Glen Head, New York, Anthony Ganji Jr. On the outside out of Chicago, Illinois, it's David Malukas. Inside row number 3, Sam Mayer in the double deuce out of Franklin, Wisconsin. On the outside, Leonardo Stoya in the 29. He's out of Medina, Ohio. Inside of row number 4, John Paul Southern Jr. in the 20. He's out of Westlake, Ohio. And on the outside in the 04, Jamie Williams. He's out of Mason, Ohio. Alex Bertignoli in the number 4 is on the inside of row number 5. He's out of Illinois, and on the outside out of Wisconsin, it's Austin Schaff in the 18. Drew Lindley and Jack W. Miller in row 6. Giovanni Bramanti and Michael Paterno round out your field. 14 starters, 14 laps distance. Age category would be 7 to 12 years old. Green flag is out. We're going racing. Comet Sportsman. Holden gets the inside line into turn 1. Going to bring Malukas with him. And Holden jumps out to the lead. Malukas into second. Lemke back to third. Penalty in the last class. Cart number 3 will be put behind the number 17 in the running order for contact in the 17th and final corner coming to the checkered.
It's just the first lap.
I know, I wanted to go back.
Pick up throw off this damn top.
Working lap number 1 is David Malukas on his MRP Burrell, sponsored by HMD Trucking into the red corner. Malukas out front. Then you have Lemke, the Franklin Motorsports driver out of Wisconsin, riding in second, won all 3 pole awards in sportsman competition today. And he's looking for a main event victory in this one. Malukas nearly slides that Burrell off the track on the exit to 17. With pressure from Lemke. Ganji runs in third. Zach Holden is fourth. Leonardo Stoya in fifth. Then you have Jamie Williams in sixth. Sam Mayer seventh. John Paul Southern Jr. eighth. Drew Lindley ninth. And Austin Schaff rounding out your top 10.
I'll take somebody's backup engine at this point.
Tag Senior to the grid. Tag Senior, need you down to the grid. Tag Senior to the grid for your main event. Single file into turn 13. Malukas still out front of the Merlin of Brandon Lemke as things shake out here in the opening couple of laps. Looks like most of the drivers content to ride in their position in the early stages of this one. Your top 3 looking to break away now as they run nose to tail. Malukas, Lemke, and Ganji, if they can work together, have an opportunity to pull away from Zach Holden and Leonardo Stoya, who run 4th and 5th. As they head off into the blue corner, these young drivers, a lot of laps they put in each year in karting. While they're only 10, 11 years old, some of them 12 years old out there, they know what they're doing. They're taught very well by their tuners, mechanics, and of course their parents. And no, right now, I'm sure that Lemke and Ganji both thinking if they can stick right behind Malukas here, they have a chance to make this a 3-cart battle, settle it among themselves as we get into the late stages of this one. Working lap number 3 is David Malukas off of turn 13 and up the hill. Here's Stoya going to the outside of Holden as they run side by side. Stoya might see an opportunity to get by Holden here, and he will do so into the red corner. So Leonardo Stoya takes over the 4th spot, Holden back to 5th. We'll see if Stoya can close in on your top 2. Holden now beginning to fade. Not sure if there's an issue on his top card. He lost the 4th position to Stoya, and now he's lost the 5th spot. I believe that's John Paul Southern Jr. who's gotten by Holden for 5th, and now Sam Mayer going to work on the deuce as they come into turn 13. Holden, a local driver, runs the national circuit, but from just down the road in Greenfield, Indiana, runs this track as much as anyone. And it looks like he's going to slide back. Now he's going to hold on to the 6th spot for now, but he has heavy pressure from Sam Mayer as we work lap number 4. Meanwhile, up front, Lemke and Malukas pulling away from 3rd place, Anthony Ganji Jr. Nearly a 1-second advantage between your top 2 and 3rd place Ganji. So it looked like it would be a 3-cart race for the win, now turning into a 2-cart race. And Malukas has been working hard all day in this Comet class, qualified a disappointing 9th place, I believe it was. But got right up there in the pre-final. And now he's leading this one. So a nice recovery by Malukas after a disappointing qualifying run. And he's out front, but he has Brandon Lemke, who's arguably been the strongest driver here this weekend, and he's been fast in the divisional races that have been at Newcastle the last few weeks. Fast at Route 66 and Great Lakes. And he's trying to close out this quote-unquote Newcastle circuit here with some wins this weekend. Not sure. I don't think Lemke's won a race yet this year. I checked that. I believe he won at Daytona. Has a win at Daytona. I believe he was shut out at Kershaw. I'm not certain on that without looking, though. But he's certainly strong this weekend at Newcastle. As now it's a 1.4 second advantage between Lemke in 2nd and 3rd place Ganji. Stoya still rides in 4th. Holden's back up to 5th. Now Holden has moved into the 4th spot. Looks like Stoya's fading a bit now. Stoya on that Techno chassis, rode the PCRs all last year. Was on a Techno for the first time in national competition at the U.S. race at Mooresville a few weeks ago. And he's back on the Techno this weekend, riding in the top 5 right now with J.P. Southern and Sam Mayer 6th and 7th. Still Malukas and Lemke out front. Lemke takes a look over his shoulder, sees no one there, certainly likes to see that. Knows it's going to be him and Malukas down the stretch here, and they can settle it among themselves. They've lost Anthony Ganji Jr. as Ganji rides all alone. Now Williams off the track here. Williams and Bramante off the track. A bunch of carts go around him in turn 1. Bramante's going to lose all sorts of position, so a tough break for Bramante. Recently switched from the Tony kart to a top kart chassis. Be halfway home this time by. It'll be 7 down, 7 left to go for David Malukas. Terrific live coverage of this weekend's event on worldkarting.com. People at home can check out the action. Multiple video cameras. Of course, announcers, audio, live timing, and a chat all on the worldkarting.com live page. And I'm sure a lot of people at home enjoying the action. Want to thank everybody at home for tuning in this weekend. Live coverage at all the WKA Man Cup events in 2013. As we're just past halfway in this one, it's Malukas and Lemke. Out front, they have nearly a 4-second advantage on Anthony Ganji Jr. Malukas looking for win number 6 on the season in Man Cup action. Picked up 2 wins at Daytona, backed it up with the hat trick at Kershaw. And now he's in the market for win number 6. But right now he has Brandon Lemke right behind as they come around to put 8 laps down in this 14-lapper. Still plenty of time for Lemke to make a move. Ganji still rides all alone in third. Then you go back to fourth and fifth. Zach Holden and Leonardo Stoya nose to tail for that fourth battle for fourth. Then we go back to JP Southern and Sam Mayer, as those two run nose to tail in the 6th and 7th position. 8th place is Alex Bertignoli. Drew Lindley in 9th, and Austin Schaff rounding out the top 10. Tag Senior, you should be on the grid. You're out next. Tag Senior, you should be on the grid. Your main event is next. And we have a new leader. Brandon Lemke is taking the lead away from David Malukas. So a change out front. Lemke made his move here with about 5 laps to go. Malukas now back to second. We'll see what David can do with Brandon as we get into the late stages of this 14-lapper. Still Ganji all alone in third. Holden and Stoya trying to work together to close in on Ganji. They haven't been able to cut into that lead of Ganji's. You'd think drafting together they would have been able to catch him by now, but Ganji still has about 1.5 seconds, it looks like, over Holden and Stoya. Meanwhile, out front, check the interval here. 6.5 seconds between your top duo, Lemke and Malukas, over third place Anthony Ganji Jr. Again, all sorts of difference. Now one kart off the track here on the front straightaway. That's the 03 of Michael Paterno. Not sure what happened to Paterno. He gets back going, and he'll be back there in the 14th position. Three laps to go this time by. Lemke out front of Malukas into the red corner. Up the hill, going to come down the main straightaway here. popular passing opportunity right here in turn 17. Seen so many races decided in that corner over the years here at Newcastle Motorsports Park. And it looks like we're going to see another one in this Comet Sportsman main event. The longest track the Manufacturers Cup Series travels to, 1 mile in length. We were just at Kershaw back in April. That's 0.7 of a mile sprint track. And Daytona, I believe it's even smaller than that. They'll get the 2-lap to go signal this time by Lemke, opening up the gap just a little bit on Malukas. David's got to watch it here as Lemke tries to scoot away. Largest lead of the race now. About 5 kart lengths for Lemke as he motors up into the red corner. Looks like he's got some good power underneath that Merlin chassis, pulling away from Malukas as they come down the main straightaway. Malukas needs to work hard here to hang with Lemke. 2 laps to go. Lemke takes a look over his shoulder one more time, sees Malukas a few kart lengths back. He has to like what he sees. If he can hit his marks here, looks like he might be good in this Comet Sportsman main event as he continues to inch away from David Malukas. Meanwhile, for third, Holden and Stoya have been working together for the last 7 or 8 laps, and they have nearly caught Anthony Ganji Jr. We'll keep an eye on that battle with 1.5 laps remaining. Out front, still about 5 kart lengths between Lemke and Malukas. Looks like Lemke has a little bit more than Malukas as they come down the stretch in this 14-lapper. Lemke needs to hit his marks and keep that gap. Certainly don't want Malukas to draft up on you on the final lap. We've seen it done plenty of times before. They'll get the white flag this time by from starter Denny Long. One more time around for Brandon Lemke. Takes another look over his shoulder. Sees Malukas about 5 kart lengths back. Lemke looking to give Merlin another Man Cup win in 2013. Meanwhile, for third, Holden and Stoya have both made it by Anthony Ganji Jr., but don't count out David Malukas yet. He closes back in just a little bit on Lemke on the back half of the course, down to 3 or 4 kart lengths now between Lemke and Malukas. Malukas doing anything he can to try to close back in on that Merlin chassis and challenge Lemke with 1/2 lap remaining. Lemke still with an advantage. Only a few more passing opportunities. Malukas not going to be close enough as they come into turn 13. Going to have to get a good run off of 13 and up the hill if he wants a shot at this one. Lemke takes a look over his shoulder once again. Malukas about 3 kart lengths back as they go up the hill into the red corner for the final time. Lemke still looks good. Holden still runs in third. Here they come down the main straightaway. Lemke's still with a couple of kart lengths. Malukas trying to draft up on him. Closing in is Malukas. Really closing in now. Going to take a peek to the inside. They're side by side. Checkered flag is out. They were side by side for a moment, but it was Brandon Lemke clearly ahead across the line. Brandon Lemke scores the win over David Malukas. Malukas drafted back up on him. Nearly stole the win there. Could have shoved it in there on the last corner, but thought better of it. As Malukas will live to fight another day, he'll take the second spot. Lemke with a nice run there on the Merlin. He stalked Malukas through the early stages of that one. Took the lead away with about 5 to go and never relinquished it. Nice run for Brandon Lemke, picking up the win. Malukas second. Ganji gets back by Holden for third. Stoya followed him through. Stoya will take fourth. Holden will round out the top 5. Sam Mayer sixth. John Paul Southern Jr. seventh. Alex Bertagnoli in 8th. Drew Lindley 9th. Jack W. Miller will round out your top 10.
top end off when you're done, or when you're bottom end, or you top end off your gum, I'm putting on the bottom end of that.
On the track now is tsracing.com Tag Senior. 16 drivers signed in to Tag Senior. On the pole out of Miami Beach, the number 37 on an iCart, Jesus Rios Jr. On the outside out of Houston, Texas, the 00, Mason Schalutz. He's on a top cart. Inside row number 2 out of Middletown, Indiana, the number 63, Robbie Seward. And on the outside, the 03 out of Oviedo, Florida, Jacob Knuven. Jonathan Kotick, rather. Jacob Knuven's on the inside of row number 3. He's out of Sunman, Indiana. And on the outside of Knuven is Mark Bowes in the 72 out of New Hope, Pennsylvania. Inside row 4, the 25, Garrett Johnson. He's out of Piscataway, New Jersey. And on the outside, Andrew Bedoso in the number 21 out of Girard, Ohio. Inside row 5 out of Piscataway, New Jersey, Jake Johnston in the 06. And on the outside out of Deer Park, New York, the number 68, Mike Geeson. Green flag in the air. We're going racing. Rios jumps out to the lead. Schalutz settles into second. Couple carts off the track there on the exit to turn number 2. Rios been pretty dominant today in tag and Perilla Senior competition. He's out front in this one. Schalutz rides in second. Schalutz going to work hard on Rios now in this opening lap, trying to put that top cart out front of the iCart. Top cart made in Italy, your iCart made just down the road in Indianapolis. Looks like Rios has good motor up that hill, pulls out a little bit on Schalutz into the red corner, and now down the main straightaway, give him 5-6 cart lengths over Schalutz as he continues to pull away. Wow, Rios has some good power underneath that cart. One lap down for Jesus Rios. Side by side for the third spot. That's Mark Bowes and Robbie Seward doing battle. Bowes on the blue top cart, Seward on that black and red DR cart. Kotick also right there on his Tony cart. Andrew Bedoso in 6th, Geeson 7th, Garrett and Jake Johnson, twin brothers, 8th and 9th. Side by side for third, give it to Robbie Seward. Bowes back to 4th. Kotick rounds out your top 5. Rios opening up the gap now on Mason Schalutz. Rios, an experienced driver out of Miami Beach, Florida, rode MRP Burrells for several years. And this weekend he's on an iCart, running very well, is Rios. Schalutz last year won 3 WKA national championships, won the Leopard class and both Comet senior divisions. Schalutz looking to make the move to sports car racing here in the very near future, but still racing the kart here this weekend at Newcastle and throughout the 2013 Man Cup season. Side-by-side battles back in the pack. It's one of the Johnston brothers going at it with Mike Geeson. That's about battle for 8th spot.
eating again? No, not yet, but I'm eating right in after we go. I had 14 deviled eggs. Check his pocket.
Seward pretty solid there in the third spot, running pretty well on that DR kart is Robbie Seward, an Indiana driver, running in his home state this weekend. Next class out is Yamaha Rookie Sportsman, rookie drivers. You should be on the grid. You're out next.
Probably had Panther chain on.
Big lead now for Jesus Rios Jr. over Mason Chalutes. Nearly 2-second advantage for Rios. As we near halfway in this Tag Senior main event sponsored by TS Racing. Geeson still back there battling with a host of different drivers. Every time I look up, Geeson seems to be side by side with somebody. Hardly any. Mick Gabriel shoots to the inside of Jake Johnston there. That was a pass for 8th spot, I believe, in turn 13. As your top four spread out pretty good now. Rios with a big lead over Chalutes. Then you go back about 20 kart lengths to Seward. Kotick solidly in 4th. Dignan having his best run of the day. Maybe they found something on that FA kart. They've been a non-factor all weekend, but right now Dignan rounding out your top 5. That's as high as he's been all day. But also in 6th, Gabriel 7th, Garrett Johnston 8th, Jake Johnston 9th, and Jacob Knuven in 10th. So Garrett Johnston was really strong at Kershaw in these tag divisions. His rookie season in tag, but does not have the speed this weekend. Now here's Gabriel in the inside of Bedoso, and Gabriel makes another pass. So Mick Gabriel is the driver to watch right now. Started 16th, and if you recall in the pre-final, he had to pull off the track right on the start. Didn't even get a lap in, didn't even get a corner in. And he's made his way all the way up. Now he's going for 5th, and he will take over the 5th spot and turn 17, bumps Dignan back to 6th. So Mick Gabriel, perhaps the fastest kart on the track right now, as he's passed 11 karts to go from 16th to 5th. And we're just past halfway, so some nice driving there by Mick Gabriel on his Tony kart. But now he's got a big gap between him and the next kart, which would be another Tony kart, Jonathan Kotick, who's probably about 3 seconds ahead of him. Dignan on the FA kart, that's a Fernando Alonso kart. Began the season on an Aero, moved to the FA kart, still with the same team. That's a Kart Sport North America back team. Oh, awful reports coming over the radio now from Mick Gabriel. Something dragging on that number 23. Gabriel has worked so hard to get up into the top 5. And an issue on the 23. Looks like he's going to get the meatball flag this time around. Report is it's a seat strut dragging off of that number 23 of Mick Gabriel. So once again, a really tough break for Gabriel, working very hard to get up there, and now he's going to be shown he's got to get off the track. And I do see it here as he goes by. It's certainly looks like a seat strut dragging on the number 23 of Mick Gabriel. Tough break, as he'll have to pull off the track here, and he will do so. So a nice job by Gabriel pulling off over there after seeing that meatball flag from starter Denny Long. Meanwhile, out front, Jesus Rios. No battle there. Nearing a 5-second lead over Mason Chalutz. So Gabriel's misfortune will put Dignan back to the top 5. Now one card around here in turn number 1. That's the number 55 of Patrick Soares. Now Soares sitting over there in the grass. And looks like he's going to have to get out of his Merlin chassis and retire from this one. Yamaha rookie, you should be on the grid. You're out next. Bodoso and I believe that's Jake Johnson side by side in turn 13. Give the spot to Bodoso. It's all Jesus Rios out front. 5-second lead over Mason Chalutz. Robbie Seward only about a half-second back of Chalutz. Seward working hard to close in on the 3-time WKA national champion. Looking to challenge for that runner-up spot. Still has Jonathan Kotick in 4th. Not far off of Robbie Seward. So you got an I cart out front. We've got a top cart in 2nd, a DR cart in 3rd place, a Tony cart in 4th, and then an FA cart rounding out your top 5. So once again, 5 different chassis makes in the top 5. Seen that several times today. Good variety out there this weekend at the McLaughlin Motorsports Nationals. 2 laps to go for Jesus Rios. A dominating performance by Rios this weekend in Tag Senior. Now, many of these drivers will be back out later today in Leopard Senior, Perilla Senior rather. And a little more competition in Perilla Senior for Rios, as Ashley Rajero gave Rios a good battle in that race, as did Billy Lewis. Rajero led much of the race before Rios got her in the final corner, so that should be a barn burner later today. But this one is anything but, as Jesus Rios showing the way, over 5-second advantage over Mason Chalutz. White flag in the air this time for the Miami Beach driver. It's Jesus Rios Jr. One more time around on that I-cart. looking to give iKart its first WKA national win is Jesus Rios. They've come on the scene in 2013 and have come on the scene strong. Developed the chassis down in Kershaw, done a lot of testing at Mooresville. Done testing here at Newcastle, and they are strong this weekend with Rios and Geeson. Rios seems to have more than Geeson, as Geeson right now back there in 11th, so something off on the Mike Geeson iKart, but nothing wrong with Rios as he's out front, up the hill for the final time into the red corner. Just a couple more turns for Jesus Rios. Down the main straight for the final time. Off of turn number 17, checkered flag in the air. Jesus Rios Jr. gives iKart its first win in WKA Man Cup. Second place will go to Mason Chalutz. Robbie Seward third, Jonathan Kotick fourth, Derek Dignan fifth, Andrew Bedoso sixth, Garrett Johnston seventh, Jake Johnston eighth, Jacob Knuven ninth, and rounding out your top 10, Dustin Strauss. One of our largest classes set to hit the track next. It is the New Jersey Sprint Series sponsored Yamaha Rookie. 7 to 10 years old. Youngest competitors racing this weekend. On the pole in the number 1 Burrell out of Coldwater, Michigan, it's Gage Rogers. Rogers looking for win number 1 on the season in the Man Cup Series. On the outside in the 05, it's Mark J. Finnis. Finnis is out of Zionsville, Indiana. Inside row number 2 on the top cart, out of New Jersey, it's Connor Ferris. He's on the deuce. And on the outside, the number 02, it's Max Kowalski. Andrew Castellucci on the inside of row 3. He's in the number 9. On the outside, it's Griffin Coons in the number 21. Madison Campo in the number 10 on the inside of row 4. On the outside, the number 28, Tyler Ferris. Ferris out of Brick, New Jersey. Inside of row 5, it's Dino Lambros. Lambros in the number 17. On the outside, the number 51, Andrew Bish. Inside of row 6 will be Brian Tremper Jr. in the number 13. Carter Cass on the outside in the number 15. Aiden Lindley on the inside of row 7 in the 19. And on the outside out of Florida, the number 87, Jeremy Fairbairn. Jeremy won 2 races in this class at Daytona, but he's stuck back there in the 14th starting position in this one. Inside of row number 8, the number 77, William Lambros. On the outside, it's Robert Noaker III. Second-generation racer is Noaker out of Pennsylvania in the number 3. Inside row number 9, the number 20, Nick Shepard. And on the outside, Cameron Christ in the number 5. Rounding out your top 20 starters will be Tanner Hulwerda in the 24 and Ryan Detler in the number 58. Rookie drivers on the track getting lined up here, and we'll look for a green flag. Did a nice job to start the pre-final, did our rookie drivers. Had a nice slow pace and stayed together nicely, and we were able to give them the green flag right off the bat.
Don't drop your sister off there, please.
As this class continues to grow, continues to gain interest, and that's a good thing for the sport when one of our largest classes is the youngest age group.
Hey, you can tell. We ain't sold no parts today. You know why? Parts guy's not been in the trailer all
Nice
day.
and slow down the main straightaway. And there it is, another good start for Rookie. We're going racing. Finesse jumps out to the lead. Rogers into second. Kowalski will move into third. Connor Ferris back to fourth as things shake out here in the opening few corners.
That's tech. That's tech.
Dan's racing in
Oh. That's a damn area let him do stuff.
Looks pretty clean there on the back half of the course, mostly single file. Now one card off the track. And I believe that's Connor Ferris. It's certainly a top card, couple carts off now. Now in this rookie class, officials can help them back out onto the track. Not allowed to do that in the older age categories, but in rookie, officials can push them back out onto the track so they can resume the race. As we see one of our corner workers do just that. We'll get a number. I believe that was Connor Ferris, and it was the deuce. Tough break for Connor Ferris. Been up front all day, been challenging for a win in the pre-final, and now he's certainly out of contention in this one as he was going to be back there in about 29th position over a half track back of your leaders.
Time for a Twitter update. Yeah, you update your Twitter way too much. No, goddamn, I read enough for her damn Twitter. Your Twitter.
It's Gage Rogers out front to turn 13. One driver off the track, the exit to 13, gets back on. Side by side for second here. It's Finesse on the outside, Kowalski on the inside. Finesse able to hold Kowalski off as they race just ahead of Griffin Coons. Gage Rogers, your leader. Then you have Finesse, Kowalski, Coons, and Tyler Ferris rounding out the top five. Andrew Castellucci, 6th. Madison Campos, 7th. Andrew Bish, 8th. Carter Cass, 9th. Brian Tremper Jr. rounding out your top 10.
Probably. Billy might have a set.
Still Rogers out front. Keep an eye on Tyler Ferris. Won both races at Kershaw in the rookie class. Swept the main events, and he's up to 5th. That's the best he's been all day. But he needs to work hard to keep track of these top 4 as they come down the main straightaway and into turn 17. Side-by-side battle for 6th. To the inside, I believe that's Campo in the number 10, getting by Andrew Castellucci in the number 9. So a change in the 6th position. Still a 5-cart breakaway up front. Finesse now your leader. Rogers second, Kowalski third, Coons fourth, and Ferris in fifth. So I believe, other than Tyler Ferris, none of your top 5 have ever won a Man Cup feature event. So we could have a new winner here among Finesse, Rogers, Kowalski, or Coons. The only one who could make that not happen would be Tyler Ferris. And I want to say Ferris's wins at Kershaw were the first of his career in WKA Man Cup. Of course, Ferris, one of the regulars in the series that sponsors this class, the New Jersey Sprint Series. A 5-race WKA divisional series that runs at tracks like Oakland Park in Cutterbackville, New York, Englishtown, New Jersey, and New Jersey Motorsports Park. Coming down the main straightaway one more time. It'll be 5 laps in the books here for Mark J. Finesse. So you have your top 5, then you go back about 4 seconds to 6th and 7th, Madison Campo and Andrew Castellucci. Andrew Bish is in 8th, Carter Cass 9th, Nick Shepard is 10th, Brian Tremper Jr. 11th, Dino Lambrose 12th, William Lambrose is in 13th. Not sure if there's relation there. Aiden Lindley 14th, and Robert Noaker the 3rd and 15th. Be halfway home this time by 7 down, 7 to go for your leader, Mark J. Finesse.
We've got 2 beers. We only got 1. I mean, only to text the fucking thing I did. Harry, let him push it back to the fucking pit already. Because he's using it in the next class.
Cadet sportsmen, you should be on the grid. Cadet drivers, you should be on the grid for your main event. 5 laps to go this time by. Gage Rogers out front. Finesse in second. Kowalski third. Coons fourth. Tyler Ferris still fifth. Couple of carts into the grass on the exit to turn 17. That's the number 13. And now another cart pulling away, the number 20. I believe that's Shepard. Nick Shepard, that was. All in all, a pretty clean race here for our rookies, considering we have nearly 30 of them take the green flag. These drivers have been doing a good job all day long. Still Gage Rogers out front. A 5-cart breakaway, been that way for several laps. Finesse and Rogers have been the two swapping the lead. Looks like it's going to happen one more time out there in the red corner.
Somebody hit a cone.
It looks like somebody may have kicked out a cone onto the track. One of our corner workers is going to take care of that. Finesse leads. Now Kowalski's moved into second. Rogers into third. Or back to third, rather. Tyler Ferris up to fourth. Coons in fifth. Keep an eye on Tyler Ferris, looking for win number 3 in a row in the Yamaha Rookie Sportsman class, as now he's made his way into the 4th position, right behind Gage Rogers in the number 1. 3 laps to go this time by. Your leader, Mark J. Finesse, looking for his first WKA Man Cup win. Into turn 13, it's Finesse, Kowalski, Rogers, Ferris, and Griffin Coons rounding out the top 5. Here they go up the hill to the red corner. We'll see what happens here. Ferris takes a peek to the inside of Rogers. Single file, though. No change in position. Now it looks like they may have gotten together a bit on exit to the red corner, allowing Finesse and Kowalski to open up the gap. Here's Ferris to the inside of Rogers, and Ferris takes over the 3rd position. Coons up to 4th. And Rogers back to 5th. Two laps to go this time by. Still Finesse out front of Kowalski. Watch out for Tyler Ferris, as I said, looking for win number 3 in a row. He has a little bit of work to do now as he tries to close the gap on your top 2. It's Finesse and Kowalski out front. Now here's Ferris to the outside. Contact down the backstretch. Rogers gets back to the inside of Ferris to retake the 3rd spot. 2 laps to go now. Things getting serious now in this Yamaha Rookie main event. Finesse out front still. Kowalski, Rogers, Ferris, and Coons doing battles and hard battles for second on back, as now they've closed right back in on Mark J. Finesse. That's Kowalski and Rogers, 2nd and 3rd, with a lap and a half left to go. Ferris had a run on the outside there, and I think there was some contact made. Ferris had to back out of it on the main straight. Coming down the hill into turn 13. Kowalski takes a peek to the inside of Finesse. Won't make a move. They'll go up the hill to the red corner. Looks like side by side for second now. Rogers looking to make a move. Here's Ferris back to the inside. Can't make the move on Rogers. Here they come down the main straightaway. White flag will be in the air here. Single file for the time being. Rogers pulls out. Goes to the inside of Kowalski. Looking to take over second. Won't be able to make the move. Still single file. Down the front straightaway. One more time around for Mark J. Finesse. Kowalski second. Rogers, Ferris, and Coons, your top five. Good racing here by the rookie drivers. They'll go into the blue corner. Ferris looks to challenge. Won't make a move. Still single file. Still Finesse out front. Now a couple of kart lengths for Finesse. Looks like one driver's in trouble. Rogers off the pace. He slides back to fifth and loses a ton of ground on your top four. Now a four-kart battle. We'll see if Ferris can make a move on Kowalski here in 13. Takes a look to the inside. Won't make the move. Still Finesse out front. They'll go up the hill one last time to the red corner. Let's see if Tyler Ferris can make a move on second, possibly challenge for the lead. Ferris looking for 3 wins in a row here. Into your red corner, to the inside. They're side by side for second. Ferris on the inside, Kowalski on the outside. 4 wide down the main straightaway. Finesse on the bottom. Kowalski looks like he has the advantage into your last corner. Kowalski takes the lead away. Checkered flag is out, and the 0-2 goes to Max. The win goes to Max Kowalski in the 0-2. Finesse will take second. Ferris third. Griffin Coons fourth, and Gage Rogers will round out your top 5. A terrific finish there. In the rookie class, they were 4 wide coming down the main straightaway. Finesse did what he had to do, protected the bottom, but Kowalski had a good run on the outside and made the pass stick. We've seen a couple of outside passes into turn 17 this weekend, and we just saw another one there. Your win, unofficially, Max Kowalski over Finesse, Ferris, Coons, Rogers, Castellucci, Campo, Lambros. That's Dino Lambros in 8th, William Lambros 9th, and Andrew Bish will round out your top 10.
Bless you.
So a terrific race there by your New Jersey Sprint Series sponsored Yamaha rookie drivers, with Max Kowalski getting the feature win, his first national win in WKA over Mark J. Finesse. We'll look forward to tomorrow's action in rookie. Next up, our second sportsman main event of the day. It is Kuna USA sponsored Cadets. 19 drivers set to go, 14 laps. On the pole in the number 01, already has one feature win today. It's Brandon Lemke. Lemke out of Eagle, Wisconsin. On the outside, the number 29 on a Techno chassis, Leonardo Stoya. Stoya's out of Columbia Station, Ohio. Inside row number 2 out of Westlake, Ohio, the number 20, John Paul Southern Jr. On the outside, the number 3, it's Luke Finesse out of Zionsville, Indiana. Inside row number 3 out of Hartsdale, New York, Michael D'Orlando. D'Orlando on the number 51, Tony Kart. On the outside out of Mason, Ohio, the number 04 PCR chassis, Jamie Williams. Inside row 5 out of Hartsdale, New York, the number 95, Nicholas D'Orlando. On the outside, the number 23, it's Lance Fenderson. Fenderson's out of Rye, New Hampshire. Inside row number 5, the number 47 on a Tony kart, Roman DeAngelis. And on the outside, on the number 33 top kart out of Glen Cove, New York, it is Giovanni Bramonti. Inside of row 6 will be Jason Wellage. Wellage on a Tony kart number 5 out of Cleves, Ohio. And on the outside, out of Islip Terrace, New York, out on Long Island, the number 61, Matthew Dunkovich. Inside row number 7, Devin Buteau in the number 08. He's out of Naples, Florida. On the outside, out of Greenville, Pennsylvania, the number 0, Savannah Fitzgerald. Inside of row 8, the number 19, Alex Lester out of Clinton, Ohio. And on the outside, the number 79 out of Chicago, David Malukas. Inside row number 9, Drew Lindley in the number 12 out of Carmel, Indiana, not too far from here. And on the outside, in the 07, Anthony Ganji Jr. from Glen Head, New York. Greenfield, Indiana, Zach Holden all alone in row number 10.
You ladies look cute. Yeah. I don't know what to talk to Blake.
No green this time. Starter Denny Long doesn't even give a hint at a green flag.
For what? For that deal? Are you kidding me? So is the trick all you have to do is cry and then you get your way?
Who do you get together?
Your brother-in-law? Your nephew?
My brother-in-law.
Who's crying?
I thought that was Malik.
Well, they're both in the back. It was right here. Back there.
Yeah, all three.
Yeah, but Zach was down by the underneath, and Genji went around the outside. Hey, I think we might need to use a conical washer. I think we're exceeding the load limit up there. No, I'm saying the chair broke again. That bolt popped out of the hole again. Allison, you weigh too much. You can't be up, buddy.
Looking for a green flag here, and there it is. Green flag is out. Cadet Sportsman is the class. Lemke jumps out to the lead. A couple of heavy hitters back there in the back half of the course in Malukas and Holden. A lot of work to do for those two drivers to make their way through the field.
Tony Kart. Goes Lance, Tony Kart, him. No, D'Angelis. Yeah. Lance, Dick, the guys right in front of him, so check him up. Where you at? No, let me talk to you. Get to the bumper. We need help. That's fine. Listen, so Chase says his Yamaha sucks. The only thing he has is his switch Yamaha, which has a shitty bottom end. I don't want him to put, he's going to put his switch Yamaha on. He says the bottom end hasn't been replaced since like the second race. I just hope you guys don't blow by us when he comes through. And Chase has got a good go-kart and good head on him right now, more than Patrick does right now. So I mean, he's our chance of winning that thing tomorrow. Now if we can come up with something. You know he's going to get golf for it though. Yeah. All right, Sam. Brandon has a senior Yamaha motor. Huh? See if Comet has a senior Yamaha. As soon as this thing's overall. No, Bill's going to go talk to Brandon. Need something wrong. Get back in line. Get back in line.
push, Lance.
Because if not, you're going to have a shitload of people up your ass in a minute.
Oh, you totally dicked that. What are you doing down there on the bottom of that fucking corner?
You know you're going to get
Lemke looking for win number 2 out in the day. Last race, he had David Malukas all over him. This race, it looks like it's going to be John Paul Southern Jr. Malukas started back there in the 16th spot, and he's already made his way to 6th. Holden started in 19th, and he's made his way up to 11th. So we'll keep our eye on those two drivers.
Whoa. Past fence. We're good.
The one that was there?
Lemke out front of Southern.
That was fitness.
Lance, you got to tuck in and catch these guys. If you lose
Stoya rides in 3rd. Michael D'Orlando riding in 4th. Lance Fenderson, his best run of the weekend so far. The New Hampshire driver in 5th. Malukas still 6th. Roman DeAngelis in 7th. Roman's a Canadian. Holden's moved up to 8th. Ganji 9th, and Nicholas D'Orlando in 10th. So a bunch of Northeasterners in this class between D'Orlando and Ganji. Bramonti as well back there in 13th.
Now, see, if Malukas and Zach and Ganji were smart, they just push each other. If. But Zach's going to pass Malukas in a minute.
No, he's not.
You don't think so?
Hopefully he'll push until he gets a Lance. He knows he'll push until they get up there.
And Ganji's going to pass both of them because he's impatient.
John Paul Southern hanging with Lemke here. Southern continues to get faster. There was a time when John Paul wasn't much of a factor. Well, meanwhile, Malukas and Holden slide by the 23 of Fenderson. Some good racing there. Malukas heading a 4-wheel slide through turn 17 to make it by Fenderson, and Holden followed him through. So Malukas has gained 11 spots since the start of this one. Holden has gained 13 spots. Those two drivers making their way through the field at a rapid pace as we work lap number 5. But the bad news is there's still 3.5 seconds back of your leaders, who are doing a good job right now of working together, Brandon Lemke and Southern. Was going to say Southern continues to improve. Was a top 10 runner throughout much of the year last year, and he's right now a solid top 5 competitor in the Man Cup, and right now has an opportunity at a potential first WKA Man Cup feature win. Stoya's been pretty solid this weekend on the Techno chassis. He rides all alone in 3rd. Here's Malukas to the inside of D'Orlando, going to bring, I believe that's Ganji with him, and Holden follows on through. So Michael D'Orlando goes from 4th to 7th in one corner as Malukas, Ganji, and Holden make their way through. Malukas and Ganji both raced all winter in Florida at the Florida Winter Tour. Holden made a couple of trips down there as well. These drivers have a lot of laps so far in 2013, not even halfway through the season.
They should get Stoya when they get to the straightaway.
Wish I got as much lap.
They should get Stoya by the time they get to the straightaway. Stoya's like, oh shit. is. He will. Nope. See ya. How many more laps I got?
Ain't seen halfway yet.
Stoya slides back to the 6th spot as Malukas, Ganji, and Holden drafted on by. So this will be interesting to see if these three drivers can close in on your top two. What a story it would be if they could, especially for Holden, who started dead last, shotgun on the field, and Malukas, who didn't start too much ahead of him. He started 16th. And Ganji started 18th, so forgive me for forgetting Ganji started back there in the 18th spot. These three drivers are 3rd, 4th, and 5th, closing in on your top two. Last time by Malukas was 2.6 seconds back of your leader. We'll check the interval this time by. It'll be halfway, 7 down, 7 to go.
That's 6 tenths faster.
It'll be a tall order to close in on your top two. And it's a 2.2 second lead now for Lemke over 3rd place Malukas, so they sliced into his lead by about 0.4 of a second last lap. So don't count out Malukas, Ganji, and Holden. Those three drivers need to stay nose to tail and work together if they want a chance to catch Brandon Lemke and your second place runner, John Paul Southern Jr. As we said, Jr. in the market for win number 1 in WKA Man Cup, while Lemke looking for win number 2 on the day. Malukas looking for win number 6 on the season. Ganji's had a couple of Man Cup wins this year. And he's a Florida Winter Tour champion, won the Formula Kart Tag Cadet class this year in the Florida Winter Tour. Holding the national champion last year in Man Cup. And he rides in 5th. So a lot of credentials for your top 5 drivers. As they come down the main straight once again, we'll check the gap this time between your top 2 and 3rd place David Malukas. 2.1 seconds, so not much of a change there. They're going to have to close the gap a little more than that if they want a chance at this one. Michael D'Orlando is in 6th. Lance Fenderson 7th. Stoya is back in 8th. Nicholas D'Orlando 9th. And Roman DeAngelis in 10th.
Goddamn JP, make a move. Huh?
High Torque Comet Pro out next. Comet Pro, you should be on the grid.
Very boring race, but you just start white.
Lemke inching away from Southern now. And that could be the break Malukas, Ganji, and Holden need if your top 2 separate. Looks like they closed in a lot here. We'll check the gap. 1.4 seconds between Lemke and Malukas. So he shaved off 0.7 of a second there in that last lap. Still with a shot at it are Malukas, Ganji, and Holden with 5 laps to go. Working the back half of the course. Southern has closed back in on Lemke. Lemke's led from the green flag. Your Comet Sportsman winner earlier today. He's been strong at Newcastle. Won a couple of races at the Route 66 race a couple weeks ago. into the red corner. It'll be 4 laps left to go this time by. Malukas still trying to close the gap. Now Lemke with some drafting help once again from Southern. 9/10 of a second now between your leaders and third place David Malukas. So under a second lead for Lemke and Southern over Malukas, Ganji, and Holden as those 3 drivers continue to work hard to close in on your top 2. Once again, Malukas started 16th, Ganji started 18th, and Holden started in 19th. They made quick work of the rest of the field and now have their sights set on your top 2 with less than 4 laps remaining. They should have enough time if they keep moving at this rate to close in on Lemke and Southern here with a few laps remaining.
Not getting anything in the road course at all.
Looks like it's going to be less than a half a second now. I think we're going to have a 5-kart battle here as they come down the main straightaway. Malukas now close enough to possibly make a move on Southern as they come into turn 17. Southern takes a look over his shoulder. Now he sees that red HMD Trucking Burrell right behind. It's a 5-kart battle for the lead now. 3 laps left to go. Lemke out front, Southern second. Malukas, Ganji, and Holden have caught your top 2. Working on 2 laps to go. Here's Malukas to the inside of Southern in the blue corner. They're side by side. And Malukas will take over the position. Ganji will follow him through. Southern back to 4th. Holden still sits in 5th. Now Malukas going to go to work on Lemke. Once again, as they did in Comet Sportsman earlier this afternoon, Lemke with 3 or 4 kart lengths on David Malukas as they come down the hill into turn 13. Lemke's led every lap of this one, but his lead is in danger now as Malukas, Ganji, and Holden did a wonderful job closing in on your top 2. Took him most of the race. Now here's Holden to the inside of Southern, so now Southern, who had a good shot at a win in this one, back there in 5th, and he's got a lot of work to do to get back up there into the top 2 and challenge for the win. 2 laps to go this time by. Lemke out front, Malukas, Ganji, and Holden. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Holden, your local driver, out of Greenfield, Indiana, on that blue top cart. Here's Malukas to the inside in the blue corner. Going to bring Ganji and Holden with him, and just like that, Lemke's back to 4th after leading the entire race. David Malukas, your new leader. Ganji right there. What a drive by these 3 drivers. Holden wants something to say about it. This is home track. Is Zach Holden. Coming down the hill here into turn number 13. They'll get the white flag this time by. Here's Lemke going to go to the inside of Holden. Lemke will retake the 3rd spot. He hasn't given up yet. Going to go up the hill into the red corner. A terrific race. Best of the day by far so far. This Yamaha, this Cadet Sportsman main event. White flag will come out this time by for David Malukas. Single file into turn 17. Looks like Ganji's just going to hang there. One more lap around for Malukas. We'll see what Ganji can do with him. Does Lemke have something for him? Maybe Holden can sneak in there. Southern looks like he's going to be a non-factor now. He's lost the top 4. Into the blue corner. Here's Lemke diving to the inside. Lemke will retake the 2nd spot. Holden follows him through. Ganji back to 4th. They race behind Malukas. Still Malukas out front. Holden now goes. Now Holden into 2nd. Malukas back to 3rd. Your new leader is Brandon Lemke. Lemke gets by Malukas. Brings Holden with him. We'll see what Holden can do now. Into the green corner. Couple of kart lengths between Holden and Malukas, your 2nd and 3rd place runners. Into turn 13. Holden won't make a move. They'll go up to the hill. The red corner is next. We'll see what Holden can do with them. Single file for the moment. Lemke protects the bottom. Still Lemke out front. Here's the main straightaway. Lemke protects the bottom. Holden swings wide, brings Malukas with him. Drafting down the backstretch, side by side. Holden's in good position here. Off of the final corner. Give it to Zach Holden. Takes the win. Second will go to Lemke. Third, Ganji. Malukas fourth. Southern will take fifth. Terrific race there as Zach Holden pulled to the outside of Lemke on the backstretch and almost didn't have him cleared there. Lemke almost had the line, but Holden had just enough to muster by him and have the line into the final corner. And the best race of the day comes to a conclusion. Greenfield, Indiana's Zach Holden takes the win. Lemke second, Ganji third, Malukas fourth, Southern fifth, DeOrlando sixth, Stoya seventh, Fenderson eighth, DeAngelis in ninth, and Giovanni Bramante will round out your top 10.
Sorry, girls. Did you tell Tim we're going out?
Oh, yes.
What did he say?
He goes, I said, so, no fiddling. He's like,
Yeah, no, it's cool. Pastor, I used to know Pastor, always
oh, yeah.
look forward to meeting you. You know, we're Pastor.
Fascinating.
We're fascinated. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Everything talks about it. That's what
You guys are going out? Going what? Going out?
He's still seeing visions of Lewinsky's butt last night. Can you tell you about that?
Saying how well, we walked by, something about, go out for a cab.
So I don't really keep statistics on this thing, on something like this, but just so everybody knows, Zach Holden started dead last in that race. Started shotgun on the field and brought that top cart up to the number one position on the final corner. Great job there by Zach Holden. His first win of 2013 in the Man Cup. Comet Pro out next. High Torque Comet Pro taking to the track. Patrick Olson on the pole in the 45. On the outside,